got a sort of a pastel shade festive card for you, a little bit different, but I'll show you how you can match up all your colors using our Color Cloud inks for this one. Here's some of the items we'll be using for the video today. The die set is the bold snowflake frame. We're also using from the Peace, Joy, Love, the sentiment here, thinking of you at Christmas. Going to be using some A4 sticky adhesive sheets and some mounting cushion to get a little bit of dimension. And let me show you a few other items. We have these beautiful diamante charms from the Always and Forever wedding collection, but we're going to use them in the middle of our bow. And I'm using the Chic Gray Blue Color Cloud ink and the Smoothies to do some inking. And both the diamond sprinkles as well as the ice snow we'll use on this card for an extra bit of bling, okay? So let's pop these back out of the way for the moment. Now I've already done a little bit ahead of time because I wanted to cut this background using the center from the bold snowflake frame. Now this is an interesting center because what you have is a snowflake in the middle, so when you cut a lot of them you'll have some leftover bits that you can use for another card, but it gives you a really pretty negative die cut as well as some piercing around the edge. So I've gone ahead and I've cut a bunch of them, and as you'll see, as you cut to the edge of these, you'll have pieces that are a little bit loose, but don't panic about that, okay? So I'm going to do one more for you. We'll pop this off the page a little bit up to the top and tape that into place there and just get a little bit more of a snowflake coming through there, just a hair bit. There we go. That'll add a tiny little detail in that top section. Carefully peel that off. Okay, pop that back into place and we can move that out of the way for the moment. But you can see how I've got all these really pretty little snowflake areas that we're going to do some glittering and inking through. So the first thing I want to do is I want to cover the back of that with a self-adhesive sticky sheet. So I've cut that to size and I'm just going to peel this off, lay it down, and let's just see if we can get it on there straight enough. I'm going to lean into the picture just a little bit there for you. That looks good. Okay. I'm going to do some glittering. I'll go ahead and do that first and then we'll come back to that. Okay, and for this I'm using the diamond sprinkles. Bring over my copy paper to put underneath that. There we go. Pop that into place. We'll just burnish that into that exposed snowflake area. There we go. So that part is ready. Tap that back in. Now what I want to do is add a little bit of the Chic Gray Blue behind that. So what I'm going to do is bring over a piece of just solid coconut white card, and using the smoothie, I'm going to ink this around the edges. And it's a very pale pastel blue, but it's really pretty, and it gives you that nice frosty feel coming through the snowflakes. There we go. All the way around the edge. The center section won't show, so I'm not going to fuss with that. And the edge here. Now the only thing you need to be aware of is it is an ink and you have to dry this thoroughly before you can put something sticky to it. So bring in my heat tool, give it a nice set. Okay, that should do the trick, let's hope. And I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off the other side of this and put it onto that in place. So that will show through the snowflakes. Carefully peel that back. There we go. fact, I think I'll go this direction. Might be a little easier. Pop that into place. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take some white seam binding, and I'm going to color this to match. Now, using the color clouds, you can do this quite easily. So bring back the smoothie, and I'm just going to rub that over the top of that seam binding. So it will take that color from that ink really nicely. So you can get everything to coordinate so well with your cards. Now, you will need to dry this. You'll have to take the heat tool or let it dry naturally, and it will take a fair bit of time. So what I'm going to do is leave that one, and I have one that I've done earlier, so I'm going to bring that back over. Pop that into place, and I want that to go down the side of my snowflake piece here. So I'm going to just tape it into place so the ends go to the back. About like that. About like that. That looks nice, and we're going to add a little bit of mounting foam to the back so we can raise that up. In fact, I'll cut one more piece here. There we go. Take that, put one in the center there. Okay, we're going to come back to that in a few minutes. And I've actually done the same exact thing to make a bow that we'll use later with the color cloud ink, so everything's going to match perfectly. So what I want to do is put that onto a base piece that I'm going to go around the edge with. So just to give you a quick measurement for that, that is 6 inches by 6.5 inches, and I'm going to take some double-sided sticky adhesive and pull off 4 long pieces here. I want to make sure that they're long enough to go right to the edge of that card. And excuse me while I lean in a little bit. There we go. Smooth it down. On this side. Get it attached. Just give it a little bit of a touch across the top of that. There. There we go. And on the last side. And if you've gotten it so you're not quite along the edge, you can always use a paper cutter to trim that once you're done. And then I'm going to just get underneath this, peel it up off of my craft mat, take the edges off. I find it's easier to use the card and do all 4 sides one way, and turn it over, and then do the other 4, and use the edge of the card to cut against. Okay. Now bring over my copy paper, put that underneath, and this time we're going to use the ice snow. I'm just going to pop that down onto that tape. There we go. And do all 4 sides. And you can take a little bit extra off just by rubbing your finger across the top of it, and that will help burnish it into the tape as well. It saves product, so you have more to use later on, which is always handy. There we go. Put that back into our container. Okay. So now I've got a nice little piece to use as a background. So I've gone ahead and just gone a white on white, a little bit of piercing around the edge, just to frame it in. I've raised it up with some mounting cushion. There we go. Pop that down like that. Now I can come back to my base piece and I can build this up a little bit. So I've put the mounting foam on here. So we'll put the background with our snowflake in there. So we'll have a really pretty ice snow edge to that. Okay, so now building up from that, I have used the snowflake frame here, the bold snowflake frame, using this piece and this piece to cut it and then I've hit it with some spray adhesive and glittered it with diamond sprinkles. So I've got a really nice base there. So I'm going to go ahead and build that up in the middle. Pop that into place, and I think I'll add a little bit of Dries clear glue to that because I do have some glitter underneath that. put that right over the middle, and that'll cover that little spot that I didn't add the ink to, okay? And to build that up, I'm going to frame my sentiment. So I'm going to come back to this particular set, and I built in 2 circular dies in the center here. So what I find easiest for this is I've actually taken 2 pieces of white card, glued them together so they're already stuck. I'm going to pop this into place and find my tape, center this. So I have a nice little frame right like that. And because it's very simple, it's just a circular design, it'll cut through the 2 pieces without any problem at all. That way they'll be absolutely identical. You won't have to worry about lining up 2 separate cut circles. There we go. Undo. And take that center piece out. There we go. And so what I want is this piece right here. There it is. Now, it's up to you. You can do 2, you can do 4. I've got a couple more that I've done here. We can bring it up and do these together. So I've got 2 on this one and 2 on this one. I'm going to add a little bit of glue around the edge here, ever so lightly. You can pop these 2 together and get it to be built up a little bit with some dimension. There we go. And I've got a sentiment here that I've already stamped, and I've just stamped it in black. So what I'm going to do is pop this on top, and then we will trim the edge around it. Add a little bit of glue. We want it to be nice and secure. There we go. Pop that over it. Get it nice and centered. Make sure it's adhered. And then bring your scissors back in, and you can use the edge of that circular cut frame as a cutting point. And just cut against it. There we go. Tip it just ever so slightly under that frame, and you won't see the edge. There we go. Okay, so I've got a really pretty sentiment there. Now I've got some glitter here, so I will definitely want to add some mounting foam to raise that, but we want to be sure and add some glue to that as well, because we want it to adhere really nicely to that glitter. There we go. Get that centered right into place. Give it a second. And here's our ribbon from before. So I'm going to bring back our bow. And I've used the same gray-blue color cloud on this. It's just what I call a messy bow. I've let it dry well, and I'm going to pop it into place with a couple of glue dots. And get my tails where they need to go there. That right like that, and the Pretty Diamante, we'll use a glue dot for that too. Pop that right in the middle of that messy bow, and then you can fluff it out and do whatever you like to get a little dimension to your bow. There we go. And how pretty is that? And you've got all the blues in there coordinating because you've used the same ink from your background to your ribbon, and it's all perfectly coordinated. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video, and don't forget, we've got our YouTube channel there with Crafting My Style. There's so many videos for you to watch, and if you subscribe, which is totally free, you'll get the emails that tell you when the new ones have been added too.